Now, Game Week 4. Update is that Luton Town will officially play their first home game of the season against West Ham.
Yeah, 3 a.m. I want to
At
watch.
3 a.m. Friday night.
Yeah.
I would love to watch it, but that's way too early, my friend. Hello, everybody, and welcome to another episode of the Futbol Kaki, brought to you by the Chit Podcast Network. I am your host, Eldet, and I am joined by my returning fellow Kaki bro. He has returned from the land down under Australia, Mr. Jordan Liu. As you can see, Paul is not here because he has some other stuff to do. But George, how was your trip to Australia?
It was good. Love the weather, the food, the fish and chips.
Where do you go? Which part of Australia?
I went to Canberra and then left and right side of Sydney, then Sydney. Yeah.
Okay. So, but I just want to check, right? Like Canberra, because I'm more familiar with Melbourne and Sydney, like the more urbanized areas, lah. How is Canberra like? Like
just
in
like
terms
a small little city.
Yeah.
Then all the how do you say, all the embassy, all the government bodies all there. Yeah. Then they have not much ocean to see, more like a lake here and there, but their lake is kind of flat. Yeah. But weather-wise, it's definitely much colder than Sydney lah.
Okay. So it's more like you can feel it's a bit more chilly in Canberra compared to Sydney lah.
Definitely.
But how Sydney?
Sydney, it's just like you're in Singapore, but colder. Yeah. You went to see the Opera House, the Harbour Bridge, all this. Yeah. Like it's just a touristy place lah. I get to more enjoy while traveling the Grand Pacific Drive where you see the oceans.
Okay.
That's a key highlight lah. Of yeah.
Yeah, because Australia, the city is also nice, but when you drive through like the countryside or like near the lake, the oceans and everything, it's actually very, very beautiful.
Yeah, and plus, right, Australia were hosting the Women's World Cup.
Oh yeah, and was it at the same time?
When I reached there, right, then Paul's sister when he said, "Guys, I think the women are very sad about they being knocked out." Like, oh.
Oh no! I won't say anything. Otherwise, I'm gonna get ridiculed. But I do feel like the best team in the tournament won lah. Although mired by controversy, which I find is a bit unfortunate because like that whole issue. What can we say lah? Like I find he went a bit too far. But I will leave my comments.
Yeah.
I find it not fair to the Spanish women's team lah. It's a great achievement marked by such controversy lah. You don't wish that on any football team ever lah. Yeah, so good to hear that you're back. Paul's away, so he will probably be back next week. But this week, EPL Game Week 3 roundup. So there were a few games that happened throughout the weekend, but we're gonna focus today on 3 particular games, which of course are Arsenal versus Fulham, United, Forest, and of course Liverpool, Newcastle. All of them had red cards. Arsenal got one. Fulham red card. Then United game. Forest got one red card. Then Liverpool got one red card. Then all had different facets of drama. And then of course, to end off the episode, we're gonna talk about the big game for Game Week 4, which is of course Manchester United versus Arsenal. I don't think both teams are in great shape. But there is one team that I feel is currently in better state than another, which I will get into later. So with that, let's kick off this week's episode of the Futbol Kaki.
Let's go.
And the first game that we're going to talk about is, of course, Arsenal versus Fulham. Now, the final score was, of course, Arsenal 2, Fulham 2. But Aaron Ramsdale and Bukayo Saka, the first minute of this game.
Yeah.
Shocked, no? I had nothing to say, bro.
I just touched down only.
You just touched down only?
Like, I just reached home, then I used my phone to watch. Because my mom was using the TV, then never mind. Then I just use my phone. Yeah, I unpack. What? 1-0 down. It's a bad back pass.
It's a bad pass, right? But I also question Aaron Ramsdale's positioning because I don't understand why, as a goalkeeper, right, you are turning to your left or you're turning away. Like I thought goalkeepers usually they're taught to trap back to like double down backwards to make yourself big.
Yeah.
So, but I don't know whether it's because it's too far away from the goal. So I just want to ask your opinion. What do you think went wrong and whose fault is it?
I mean, the primary fault I would still have to pinpoint to Saka lah. But yes, I think it was smart of Pereira to really look up where Ramsdale was.
Yep,
Yeah,
I agree.
So I think Ramsdale thought he gonna dribble in further more, so that's why he believed that the defender player can cover it up. Yeah. So I think therefore he shift to the left side, right?
Yeah.
That's what you mean. Yeah. Also he placed the ball to the other side of Ramsdale.
Yeah. So basically he was smart because like on Pereira's part he waited for Ramsdale to turn, then he just put it in the other side. Which to me is a bit more of a question mark because reactionary wise, right? I always thought that goalkeepers, they're usually taught to like maneuver backwards or like try to cover angles lah.
Yeah.
So I was actually a bit surprised that Ramsdale decided to do a 180 turn. To try and get everything, which I think maybe because he panicked a bit because it was such a bad back pass all the way, like, and Saka was like close to the halfway line. So Fulham basically were leading 1-0. Then after that, second half, things started to maneuver towards that particular direction. Arsenal get a penalty in the 70th minute. Martinelli, right, was the one that went to the byline, if I'm not mistaken.
Went to the byline.
Yeah, Martinelli went to the byline, and then there was a very bad sliding tackle, which I honestly feel, right, like if you are trying to catch a winger inside the penalty box, right, please don't go down. Like just don't go down lah. Like, what do you think? Like, was it good work by Martinelli to try to get a penalty?
Yeah. Plus that defender, I think it's Tete, right? Or
was
yes, the right back of Fulham been doing a relatively good job.
Yeah.
Until that minute, he just a second too slow to catch up Martinelli. So I think he got no choice but to really try to slide tackle. But it was a missed time lah.
Yeah. I think he panicked a bit lah. Like because he already know that Martinelli is going to the byline trying to get something in lah. But if from the way it looked, maybe if he stood his ground, I think something could have been prevented because there was a lot of bodies in the box.
Yeah. Overall, Fulham set up their defensive work really well.
Yeah.
Where the first half, Arsenal finding hard to penetrate. One, I must say, Kai Havertz. I know Eric is I don't say a fan, like he likes the way that Kai Havertz play, but I think that match he's really too slow.
Yeah.
He make too many backward passes.
Yep.
Then even to the extent that Arteta could no longer protect him. Arteta said in this post-match conference that I saw an action when he played backwards and he could have turned. But that's one of the things and the demand of everybody to play forward to impact the game. Because the only way to impact the game is to play the ball forward. Just overall, he's just not. I don't feel like he's in a game. Even he got one. He tried to got one nice cross by Saka. Then he tried to see he can reach the ball. He did the ballerina dance. And like, what? If you cannot reach, don't touch it. Because behind got throws out all this like.
Yeah. I mean, it's at the end of the day, right? Like, it's does the player make the correct decisions when he's getting the ball?
Yeah.
And like, to be honest, right? Like, I do think Kai Havertz is decent. I'm an advocate for him on FIFA, but I do think that for the way that Arsenal play, I feel like he slows everything down. Yeah, and it's not how you want like somebody to be there, because interestingly, like, it becomes Trossard becomes part of the front three rather than Havertz. Havertz plays a bit further back to try to become like a second number 8 or like one where to cover an additional creativity with Odegaard lah. But I don't know lah. Havertz is a mystery to me lah.
Yeah.
Sometimes can, sometimes cannot.
Someone just need to unwrap his
somebody need to find the key to unlock the box. But the thing is that nobody
it's
finds
like
the key.
a sweet, right?
Yeah.
You don't know how good the sweet is until you unwrap.
That's true. That's true. So it's like, it's something that I don't know whether you want to take or you don't want to take until you try. No choice lah. But the Arsenal take the lead in the 2 minutes after the penalty from conversion by Kaka. But wow, bro,
got controversial. Eh?
The second goal.
Yeah, there's slight controversial because the attack that led to this goal, right? It come in two waves. The first wave was Saka was almost one-on-one with the keeper, but there's this defender came by, I think it's Tete or something, blocked it, but then he got injured. His body is halfway in the penalty box, halfway outside the line. Then but play still goes on because it's not a head injury. Yeah. Then after that's how when the goal comes about on the second wave of attack when he was still lying down at the.
If let's say you just remove the incident of the equation, right? The goal was brilliant.
It
was a very nice goal. Like the cross in from the left, then Eddie and Katia just comes in at the right spot. Then just passes the ball into the net. First time. I think that's a very, very nice goal. Very well worked lah. Coming back to that whole incident right with Fulham, 87 minutes, you all concede one of the most sloppy corners I've ever seen, bro.
Yes.
Oh my goodness, bro, that one is just bad defending. That's not excusable.
Yeah, man. I must say, I find Gabriel, the defender, sometimes may be as kanchong, but I think we missed him to start the game. Yeah.
Yeah, but I don't know lah, because Palhinha was very far away from the goal.
Yeah.
Like he's not like inside near the 6-yard box or anything. Like he's quite far away. So when the ball just trickled through for him to just use his foot to just like cushion it and let it fly into the corner of the net. One, I feel Ramsey could have done better. Two, I find the defending was sloppy. Because usually that type of goal from a corner, right, is a bit hard to defend in terms of like defending capability. So it's like if your team concedes that, you cannot defend that type of thing. It's not like it shouldn't happen in the first place. It's a bit schoolboy. Schoolboy say, but what do you think about that corner?
That's why you say, really schoolboy error. It's like, that's so easy. Like the player was unmarked.
Yeah.
Yeah, the player was unmarked. It shouldn't have.
Yeah. I agree. And it wasn't a great corner. Like I feel like it really wasn't a good corner.
Overall, I just find still not very well set up. In
terms of the set piece defending, is it?
Yeah.
Like how so?
You just find that how do I say Zinchenko is not he's not really the type that will do a set piece defense,
because he's a more attacking minded, man.
Yeah, then same goes for Jorginho and I find Jorginho is not the area type of
No.
Yeah. The only area is what Benoit and Saliba. Then Gabriel only came in after 2-2, right?
Yeah, so it's a struggle. I find it a bit more challenging to be able to defend that type of defending. But who knows? I can't say that because overall United's not doing great. So we'll get into that next. But Arsenal versus Fulham finished up 2-2. Any final thoughts on this before I move on?
They should start a proper striker. I think should give a chance for Eddie and Kantia to really start the game.
Yeah, I agree because he's scored all three, right, so far. I know he scored in 2.
I think he scored the first match and then this match.
The Brentford game. Not the Brentford game. I know the first game of the season he scored. Arsenal's first game of the season he scored. Eddie scored. So I do agree that I think Nketiah should be starting a bit more But what to do? Arteta's the manager. We shall not question anymore. Moving on to Manchester United versus Nottingham Forest, right, brother? We join you in the conceding the goal in the first minute also. Oh my goodness!
At first I thought, hey, what you're complaining about? Yeah, Arsenal already conceded. Then I see the score like, oh wow, 1-0. So.
No, because the thing is that the goals happened right almost simultaneously, almost the same time. That goal between by Awoni, right, within about 2 minutes came from a corner on a counter attack. That literally, right, when it happened, there was no defender whatsoever. Behind.
As I mentioned to you, like the set piece setup for Rashford to be outside of the box.
Yes, exactly. I don't understand.
Like his height, why is it in outside the box?
Yeah, precisely. So the thing that confuses me about the whole situation is that when the counter happened, right, I was looking at it and I was like thinking, there are 3 players, right? They are not defenders. They're all attackers. Where's all the defenders?
Yeah.
It was, and the last 2 was Rashford and Anthony, right? And you could tell, right, when they were trying to chase, right, by the time Owen got the ball, right, then they started running. Yeah, like there was this lapse of concentration, right? And no matter how fast Rashford is, right, he cannot catch that, and he won't know what to do. Right? So Rashford's situation, right, is he literally has three things, right? Is tackle, get red card, stop the goal, run and try to get pressure, or wait for goalkeeper to come out. All three of it didn't happen. Then Onana, I a bit stunned. He came out, then he tracked back, then he hesitated, fall down, tried to dive again, then considered the goal.
Actually, which one will you do?
I will rush.
I mean, if you got no choice, will you pull him back to like you might get a red card?
At that particular point in the game, I would have let him run because it's too early in the game.
Let him run.
Like it's the safest option. Like there's no point in trying to get a red card because you're gonna be down to 10 men for about 88 minutes. Plus with the stoppage time, right, which I still don't understand how they accumulate the 11 minutes of stoppage time at the end of this game, right? It's more than 90 minutes you're gonna have an incident lah. Then of course, Willy Bolly from a corner, from a set piece and a free kick, taps it in and scores, and United are down 2-0 within 4 minutes. Yours was a bad corner defending. Man United was bad set piece defending in general, bro. That was just bad.
The second goal is by Bolly, right?
Bolly is the one from the free kick.
Oh yeah. Lisandro Martinez missed it, right?
Something along the lines he missed, right? Then after that, the Bolly just tapped kind of like just found a way to get the ball into the net.
Okay.
I feel like it was maybe Aaron Wan-Bissaka's issue because he got off the man, so he went in too early to try and get the whole incident going. But Man United that incident was just bro. I was fuming. I was like legit fuming. Like it was so stupid to give those type of goals away. But coming back later, Eriksen gets a goal after some Marcus Rashford brilliance, right? So going into halftime is 2-1 to Forest with Eriksen getting a goal back from United, right? Then the substitutions made. Rafael Varane comes off, right, for Victor Lindelof, right? So
why
I don't know, likelihood is an injury, but Rafael Varane got injured again. They haven't said what exactly the injury, but they just said that he has some discomfort. So because he had some discomfort, right, then Lindelof came on, which I thought Lindelof did a good job, right? But the second half was pretty much, it was mainly majority of the time was Man United.
But wait, just backtrack a bit.
Yeah.
I find this Casemiro looks a bit tired and out of place sometimes.
I find that it's mainly because he's not very well protected, in a sense where, like, let's say, I discussed this with Paul. So the difference between Man United's midfield and the Real Madrid midfield, right, is that, of course, at Real Madrid, right, he had Kroos and Modric, who naturally Kroos is a bit more defensive minded in terms of his defensive positioning, right? But attacking positioning wise, he's either always on the edge of the box or he's trying to push the ball out. Modric is the one that does the legwork. Yeah. So he's the one that moves around. So because of that, right, the midfield is balanced because you've got sit alone CDM, which was Casemiro's job, to do all the tackles, right? You got Kroos, who can double up as a second CDM, right, or he can maneuver up front, basically your box to box. Then you've got Modric as like your number 10 like that, or number 8, basically in goal. So you have 1 6 and 2 8s. Whereas for like Man United, right, is 1 6 and 2 10. So because I don't consider Bruno an 8, I consider Bruno a number 10. More towards that particular number 10 role, right? Like attacking midfielder role, right? So with Mason Mount, you also got another player in that position, right? That's why you end up, he's alone a lot. Then Casemiro in Man United, right? He attacks more than he did at Real Madrid. So your defense got no shield. But what happened is that during this particular game, Ten Hag shifted it a bit, whereby after United went 2-0 down, right, Casemiro played more like a center back. Like the third centre back, he comes backward a bit. Then the two wing backs move forward. So meaning that the Galore and Wan-Bissaka, they were going forward a bit more.
Because I saw during about 35 minutes ish, right, where Forest was attacking, making an attack. This Gibbs White saw an opening. He was running in. Then I see this Casemiro just jogging. I mean, he did run, but not sprint run. But like Gibbs White was sprinting into the gap already. They said, hey, why is Casemiro closing him down? Like, wow, the gap in between the left back and centre back is really big. So I think it almost cost Man United to concede a goal. Yeah. I
think because Gibbs White, he's quite energy, right? Casemiro has that particular problem, right? Naturally, he's not very fast. So the thing is that if you're putting him alone 1-on-1, technically it's a disadvantage.
Yeah.
So it's very tricky because
and
Casemiro,
I find him super lonely.
Again?
I find him super lonely. Like
no, he's standard one.
Like you say, you put he's a left centre back plus CDM also, right?
Yeah.
So when he plays as a CDM, I find him really like what you say, not as much protection as he was in Real Madrid.
Yeah. Because the way that they play, right, is that because United, their line is always in the other half of the field, like the back line, right? So when they're there, Casemiro will always be closer teetering to the edge of the box, or like in between the semicircle and the half circle and the main circle. So with Bruno and Mount always in front, there's actually a damn big gap behind him or in front of him.
Yeah.
So even if he moves back, right, there's a lot of space in the middle, right, between the two tens, right, and Casemiro to be able to do a lot of damage. That's why if you see what Forest did, the moment Forest get the ball, it's pushed to the wing, let Ilanga, let Owani, let all the fast guys all run against the defenders. So that's what they did. The only problem is that Nottingham Forest just got very bad execution.
Yeah.
Which is why it's a worry for me right next week when Man United play Arsenal, because it is a very similar system in terms of like get the ball in midfield with Declan Rice, right? Then you push to the wings. Can Man United keep up that one? I don't know. We will discuss later. Then of course, second half it was predominantly United with Casemiro getting the equalizer in the 52nd through a very interestingly worked free kick.
That one is nice.
It's a very nice goal.
Work.
Nicely worked free kick, right? But they had a bit of luck because Casemiro technically was in an offside position, but you could see that because he got fouled and he fell down, he got up, right? Then Rashford played the ball to Bruno, who was onside. They were smart enough that Bruno got further enough in front to a point where like Casemiro's behind the ball. So he's doing a backward pass, right, to Casemiro to basically tap in, which Casemiro nearly scuffed the shot.
It was
very close.
It was a well-worked free kick.
Yeah, very nice goal. Very well worked free kick.
I liked it that is Bruno beat the offside trap because he knew when he passed sideward to Rashford, everybody gonna go out.
Correct.
So he's the only player that will not being offside.
Yeah.
So he quickly run into before the line and then Rashford make the cross in. Like, correct. This is well thought.
It was very well thought out, but the thing is that Rashford had to do the ball correctly. Like he really had to do it correctly, and it was just a nice ball enough that for Bruno he just had to square it across to Casemiro to get the second goal, which I thought was good. Then comes the controversial decision. So two incidents happened prior after next, right? So Joe Worrell gets a red card. There was some question marks about whether or not he was really the last man, because there was a Bowley was next to him, right? So the question became, could Bowley have gotten to the ball before Bruno, right, when Worrell did the foul on Bruno And that one was inconclusive, right? So in the end, they decided to give Worrell a red card. So for the next about 30-something minutes of regular time, right, Forest played down with 10 men, and I do think that United really didn't do a lot. Every time when there's 10 men, I don't know why Man United always got a problem. It's your thing, right? But then came the controversial decision of this game, the penalty that essentially won the game. George, when you saw this, right, and they found on Rashford, was it a penalty to you or not?
I think it's a penalty.
You think it's a penalty,
Yeah. Because the Forest player that it hit Rashford's leg.
But it was very light. Rashford played into it a bit as a Man fan, I will be honest.
Yeah. I mean, nowadays, this kind of games is all about smart already.
Yeah.
You cannot give a slight touch onto any other players already.
Yeah, I agree. And it's a tricky situation because a lot of us, we were like, hey, that's not really technically you can be a penalty, can don't be a penalty, but I thought it was, to me, I felt it wasn't, because I found that he went down a bit too easily for my own liking. But penalty awarded, what to do? I'm not going to say no. Bruno converts, and then Man United hold on for the remainder of this match with 12 minutes of stoppage time. Until now, I still don't understand how you get 12 minutes of stoppage time. I probably will never understand. But yeah, so conclusion, Man United win 3-2, right? But wow, bro, not easy to watch. It's too many things. And if you've seen a video online, right, do you see where Onana standing?
Wait, the one where Rashford scored the penalty, or
no, the one where Bruno missed the shot.
Oh yes. Halfway of the Man United side.
He's damn far away. He's super far up. He's like super weird because the Gea usually stands like on the edge of the 25-yard box or outside the 25-yard box. he will never go all the way there. I see Onana there, I'm like, wow.
Oh yeah, talking about this Onana, the first goal that he conceded. You saw him. He tried, like, he prepared his position and then he ended up sitting down. Like, hey, what do you like? He moved back one step and sit down on the floor. Like, hey, what?
I feel right, bro. Like, honest, like that incident, right? He should have rushed out already.
Yeah.
Like really, really, because he had a lot of time. When Awani took his time, right? So by the time you can see Awani coming in already, right? He should have rushed out to try to grab the ball already.
Yeah.
Grab the ball. If you get the ball in that situation, right, you're not gonna get a red card. But the thing is that he rushed up, then he hesitated, then he pushed back. By the time it happened, right, he tried to anticipate going to the right, but Awani saw it, moved over to the left side. He got a hand to it, but still not the greatest goalkeeping incidents I've ever seen. But in that situation, in EPL, rush out. Just try to rush out, try to get the ball. To me, that's what should have happened. But, Onana.
Funny.
You, too much controversy already.
No.
Every week or something. But United win 3-2. I will talk about my confidence level going into next week's game later. But the last one that we're going to talk about is, of course, Liverpool versus Newcastle United. With the final score being, of course, Liverpool 2, Newcastle 1 at St. James. Big controversy is, of course, the captain for Liverpool. He got a straight red, so he's going to be out for about 3 games. Virgil van Dijk gets a red card on a very... I don't know. Honestly, right, bro, if you see in normal speed, it doesn't look like it's a red card.
Normal speed. Yes, correct.
Yeah, because from the camera angle, right, and where you see at normal speed, it doesn't look like there was anything too bad about it. But when you actually see the replay, right, he's nowhere near the ball.
He's trying to use his body to see if he can squeeze out.
Yeah, do you think it was deserved it?
Yeah, I would agree with the referee and like what Paul said. Matip is nowhere near where Isak is. Yeah. So definitely it's the last man.
Yeah. Not Matip, Van Dijk.
Yeah.
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 So, instant red card, but the same thing lah. Like prior to that, just 3 minutes before that, right, Anthony Gordon, Jordan's favorite, scores the goal in the 25th minute to give Newcastle the lead against Liverpool. Trent Alexander-Arnold, what are you doing?
Yeah, but before that, he got a lot of incidents.
Bro, since when Trent got no incident one?
The first yellow card at like 3 or 4 minutes already. That yellow card was what? A throw? Like he threw the ball at the player or what? What yellow card is that for? Then after got one almost another incident, he might get the second yellow card before the goals concede.
But Trent, I don't know, something just off with Trent. Like, to me, I find that mistake that led to the Anthony Gordon goal is a schoolboy mistake. Like, he should have controlled the ball better.
Yeah.
Then the ball rolled past him. Anthony Gordon threw 1-on-1. You cannot blame Alisson for that. It's like 1-on-1, 90% of the time the attacking player should win. So Anthony Gordon scores. And then nothing really much happens. Alisson makes a brilliant save, I find.
That chest then volley.
The chest then volley, right? Then he pushes it against the bar, right? Like mid-air. Then the shot super hard, bro. Then he pounds the ball out. Like, I think this is, to me, is why Alisson, I think, is the best goalkeeper in the world now.
Yeah,
because he can do the ball distribution, plus he's a good shot stopper. Almiron hits the post in the second half.
I mean, there's a lot of chances that Newcastle missed. They could have scored more goals than what the scoreline says so.
Yeah, and Newcastle had 23 shots and 8 shots on target.
Yeah.
Like a lot more. Like possession-wise, Newcastle was like a lot better in possession. I find that with the red card, right, they should have capitalized more with the amount of possession they had and the amount of shots that they had, right? They should have done something. Like, it's just unfortunate because Alisson pulled off a brilliant one, then Almiron hits the post. Then, of course, the masterstroke, Darwin Núñez substitution.
Yeah, everything just go... Like, Newcastle was super last in their shapes. Yeah,
like leading up to the goal, right? I think it was Botman, bro. The ball off your back. The pass wasn't a great pass, Like, it wasn't a good pass, right, from Salah. Then it was Salah, right? Was it Salah? It was Salah.
The first goal.
The first goal. I think it was Salah also.
The first goal was the second goal was Salah. First goal.
Second goal I know it's Salah. First goal I know. First goal I think it was Salah because if I'm not wrong, it's Salah.
On my side, they don't put any by someone assist because it's assist by Botman. Because he got the last touch. He got the ball.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Never mind. This one we see how later. Currently what happened is that he misses it is one thing. The ball goes off his back, rolls forward. And then, of course, the whole thing is that Nunez comes in and finishes a very clinical finish. Sloppy defending in all seriousness, right? You shouldn't let, as a defender, if the ball shouldn't even hit your back in the first place. So, because of that, you have no time to react. Nunez does that well. The second goal, brilliant pass from Salah, brilliant finish. Liverpool end up 2-1 victors, right? Which I find that you need a bit of luck. Like, really honestly, a bit of luck. Because the first goal by Liverpool, not good defending, one thing. The second goal by Nunez was a good finish, but same thing. It's the same gap, same position. Newcastle should have defended better. And it's a bit unfortunate because I think Newcastle should have gotten more out of this game than what actually happened. So,
I just think that this Newcastle, right, once Van Dijk got red card, right?
Yeah.
Their standard drop.
Yeah, because it's basically they ease off the pressure a bit.
It's like the mindset. Oh, now we got one man more. Yeah, if now don't score, later we'll score.
Yeah,
that type of mentality, you know.
Correct, which I think shouldn't be the case. Which is why I feel that because of scenarios like this, Newcastle will probably struggle a bit because you need to have the killer.
Yeah, correct.
Like all the top clubs like Liverpool, City, right. When the moment you get a red card, right, it's like you smell blood already. Like you try to kill the game off as early as possible to try to get out, which unfortunate with the statistics that Newcastle had, right? They should have done it to Liverpool.
Yeah.
And with the shape of the defense without Van Dijk there and like with Robertson and Trent being a bit prone to mistakes, right, in the recently, they should have done something. Not just based on what actually happened. So final score was of course Newcastle 1, Liverpool 2 with Darwin Nunez scoring a late winner. So now, before we move on to the match review, let's just do a recap of the week's results. So, of course, Chelsea beat newly promoted Luton Town 3-0. Bournemouth lose at home 2-0 to Tottenham Hotspur. Brentford and Crystal Palace drew 1-1. Arsenal Fulham 2-2. United Nottingham Forest 3-2. Everton lose to Wolves 1-0.
3 straight loss. Come on, Everton.
Correct. 3 straight loss. Then West Ham beat Brighton, so officially making West Ham second place in the table behind the only team to have a perfect record, which is of course Manchester City. Then of course you have City beating Sheffield United away 2-1. Haaland misses a penalty, by the way, and Rodri scores an unbelievable goal. Yeah, no, I don't think so. Aston Villa wins 3-1, and of course Liverpool beats Newcastle 2-1. Now, game week 4. Update is that Luton Town will officially play their first home game of the season against West Ham.
3 a.m. I want to
watch. 3 a.m. Friday night. I would love to watch it, but that's way too early, my friend. Even though it is a public holiday in Singapore, that's just way too early. But of course, the big game of the season, right? Of this week, sorry, not the season. The big game of this week is of course Arsenal versus Manchester United at the Emirates. Josh, I say my stuff first, then after you just say yours. I think we just keep this short and simple. I feel that in the current state of Manchester United, right, we have a lot of things that we need to sort out. Defensively, we have a lot of problems. Attacking wise, right, Anthony cannot start. Like, he's just not in good form. He's just not doing what he needs to do. I do think that you either give Pellistri a shot at right wing or you decide to play central at the right side. Because I do feel that even though central, he's also not had a great impact, he's had a better impact than Anthony. Anthony's just bad. Like, a lot of sideway passes, a lot of things that are not penetrative. He's not really challenging anybody. I do think that overall, in terms of defensive-wise, like what you said, Eriksen does bring a bit more balance to the midfield, but he's not a CDM. And I don't think Ten Hag trusts McTominay to be able to do that secondary CDM role next to Casemiro, which is, of course, a big issue because with the superiority of Arsenal's current midfield, right, which is a lot better than Man United's, I have to admit, that's going to be a problem because you cannot leave Casemiro alone stranded.
Yeah, definitely.
So it's a tricky situation, and United's attack, let's just keep it real, like you barely scrape by against Wolves. You don't do any. You waste chances against Spurs, right? And Bruno missed another sitter. Casemiro also. Both of them, two chances inside the 6-yard box. Both of them missed lah. If you're missing chances like that, right, it's going to be very tricky and it's going to be very difficult. I feel lah. And with the fact that Martial hasn't done much, is barely fit, and Rashford wants to play on the left side and he's not good at striker, I think goals are going to be harder to come by. So if to say that I'm not confident about Man United beating Arsenal, right, at this moment in time, despite our preseason result, right, I will say that's an understatement. I don't think Man United is a good team at the moment lah. So that's my piece as a Man United fan. I think Arsenal currently is better in terms of how they're playing, how they're doing well. There's more fluidity in terms of play lah. As an Arsenal fan, right, what do you think is basically the statements lah? So like, Man United have issues. What do you think on as your opinion on Arsenal, and are they better than Man United? I think Arsenal better than Man United at the current state.
Definitely, Arsenal are in the better state than Man United.
Yep, definitely.
Nonetheless, I just find, just a bit on Man United, in my opinion, I just find that it's like when you plucked out those dead leaves in your backyard, you thought it's clear. You thought, still got all this shit again. Like, do you find it like we still got some more things to deal with, like a handful more than before we can rebuild the thing again?
Don't get me started, dude. There is so many things that, like, if Paul was here, right, I think this conversation will go a lot longer into the night already.
Yeah.
I find that, let's say, just using your analogy, right, like, you weed out the dead weed already, right? But they still affect roots, naturally.
Yes,
so you still have to find a way to reharvest everything, but that still takes time. The problem is that as a farmer, right, you have to be able to pinpoint those other weeds that you need to weed out, or those things that you need to out. As a manager, I don't think Eric Ten Hag is doing that well.
Yeah.
Purely solely because of the fact that you know that Anthony's not on form. Why are you starting him on the right wing? That's my question. Like that doesn't make sense. And the only reason why Mason Mount was removed from the lineup is literally because, right, he's injured. Otherwise, he probably, knowing everything, he would have persisted with Mason Mount playing at CM, and then he would have persisted with Rashford playing as striker if Martial wasn't fit. So, like, there are points when you know that as fans this shouldn't be the way, but he still keeps on persisting. So even if you weed out everything, right, you are still back with a scenario which literally says why. So as a farmer, using an analogy, right, like, I find that there's still stuff that we need to weed out. Whereas, like, for Arsenal, what do you think? Like, I don't think you guys have anything to weed out. You just need to fine tune your stuff.
Yeah, it's just on the starting lineup. I find the starting lineup recently, I just find it. Why does Mikel want to start trying out something new at the start of the season, especially putting Partey at the right back, doing all sorts of maneuvering,
which I still find is not a good thing, not a good idea.
Yeah, and then a sudden. I don't really fancy Gabriel, but I do think now that he does have an impact in a certain way. I think he may become Jong at sometimes, but I find he do have the good defensive capability that brings it gives the other players a better composure and atmosphere around the team.
Yeah, I agree, because I find that, like, the one thing that I will change currently, aside from the striker position, is that I will put Partey back into midfield and I'll move Ben White to right back and start Gabriel centre back, which is basically what you guys did for majority of the season last year.
I find this, like, why you put Partey right back then play him CDM. I don't know, is it because he's trying to squeeze in to play Kai Havertz?
I think so.
Let nature take course. If it don't really work, let's put Kai Havertz out of the frame at the moment. Let him get time to know how he play. You just basically look at the Arsenal Fulham match. Odegaard keep running around. His running stats, I think, more than Kai Havertz, but I don't know how many 100 clicks.
But Havertz don't run one. That's his biggest problem. Like, he really don't run. Which is why I feel like it's a very weird fit for Arsenal. It just doesn't work.
Like, you don't run, but at least you play well.
Yes.
It's like Ozil.
Yeah.
Okay, Ozil don't run or don't chase down the ball. At least he play a decent pass.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah.
I agree. 100% I agree. But do you think you all have an advantage over United?
that really boils down to how is the setup is. But also is like look back at the head-to-heads, right? Man United always win at home.
Yeah. But is Arsenal home? United away. Is it Emirates?
Oh, is it Emirates? Oh, okay. All right.
And with United's away record,
oh yeah. Then the chances definitely much higher for Arsenal to walk away with a win.
Yeah, especially with home support. I do feel like Arsenal and home support and the way that Arsenal are playing, I do think that Arsenal is a better team at the moment. So, score prediction.
Let's go for 2-1.
2-1 to Arsenal. 1-1.
1-1.
1-1. I'm being positive.
all right.
Anything other than a draw is a bonus. Before we go off, I'll just read out the fixtures for this week. So, first game of the weekend is of course Luton Town versus West Ham. At their old stadium, Kenilworth Road, if I'm not mistaken.
Yes.
It's Kenilworth Road, right? It's Kenilworth Road, right?
Yeah.
Yes, okay, sorry. Okay. So first game of the season is Luton Town versus West Ham United. No, sorry. First game of the week is Luton Town versus West Ham United at Kenilworth Road, followed by Sheffield United versus Everton, Man City versus Fulham, Chelsea versus Nottingham Forest, Burnley versus Tottenham, and Brentford versus Bournemouth. All these 4 games all happening at the same time. Then, of course, you've got Brighton versus Newcastle immediately after the late kickoff. And then Crystal Palace versus Wolves to kick off the weekend, followed by Liverpool, Aston Villa. And then, of course, to end off the weekend, it is Arsenal versus Manchester United. There is no Monday night game, so we will have covered basically all the games accordingly. With that, that concludes this week's episode of the Futbol Kaki. Alright, so that is it for this week's episode of the Futbol Kaki, brought to you by the Chit Podcast Network. Now, for those of you who are listening in, we just want to say thank you for listening in to our shows. And of course, we value your support and we hope that you continue to watch the other shows on this network, which of course include the Kopi Bros every Monday, which involve Brandon, Paul, Chin Yong, and Midet. And they talk about different topics and they have fun while they do it. This week is about a very important topic called the toilet toilet habits toilet habits.
Flush your toilets.
All men can relate to it do check that episode out. It released Kopi Bros comes out every Monday. Then of course we have the SG Draft podcast every Friday involving the gangs from both shows, which is of course the Futbol Kaki and the Kopi Bros, and all of us come together and draft on different topics and have fun while we are doing it. So with that, we just want to say thank you and we hope that you continue to like and subscribe this particular channel, the Chit Podcast Network, and continue to support our shows. But before we go, George, quick fire. One player that you want to hope Arsenal will get before the window closes, as the window is coming to a close this coming week.
Wow. Just get a striker for Arsenal, man.
Anybody in particular?
Anybody you guys can name it? Write down in the comments below. I can think of one right now.
Okay. For me, as a Man United fan, right, I want Amrabat, CDM. You need CDM support currently at this particular moment in time, just to make the balance out. So with that, we just want to say thank you to everybody and we hope you have a great week ahead. Go Man United. Just wearing the Arsenal jersey. We'll see you next week and we hope that you have a great week ahead and enjoy this week's roundup of games. Of course, next week we will talk about the transfers and who we rate as the best transfers of the window. So we will just give our opinions on that and we will have fun and we hope that you join us for next week's episode. Thank you everybody and bye-bye.
Bye.